Good day, good day. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Jay, and this is Homeschool Your Kids podcast. Today we have with us Gabrielle.
Yeah, Gaby Fadhel. You can call me Gaby.
Gabby. Okay, good. I'm like I said, because I normally say, how do you say your name before I start? But I was like, I already started recording. Go ahead and introduce yourself, love.
Well, my name is Gaby Fadhel. I am the director of Royal Studios Miami down in Miami. And we are a children's theater company that offers theater, dance, music, everything in the arts for kids.
Nice. Okay. Well, you got to walk us there. How do we get on this journey? How do we just like, what they need? They need a studio. How do we get here?
Yeah. So I'll tell you, I started acting and I started in the performing arts when I was 6 years old. So I've been doing this for a very long time. I've worked professionally. I've toured. I've worked on TV. I've done movies. I've done it all. I'm a public school kid at heart, so I went to their magnet programs here in Miami. And then when I graduated, I was like, I don't want anything to do with theater anymore. I don't want to do anything. So
really?
Homeschool families. Homeschool Your Kids Expo and Homeschool Beats Academy are teaming up to bring you a day of real support and real inspiration. Come explore curriculum and enrichment, meet trusted vendors, and connect with the homeschool community. And at our featured Expo stop, meet Homeschool Beats Academy and see how students ages 7 to 18 can create original music through beat making and production with parent-friendly guidance. Get dates and details at homeschoolyokidsexpo.com.
So I actually graduated from Johnson & Wales University, and I got my business degree with a minor in marketing. And I was actually working events for a really long time. And I've been in the nonprofit business for a very long time, but I was always coaching kids in theater, getting them into schools. I have kids that have auditioned and they've gotten into like their dream high school, their dream middle school. I've had kids that have gone on to like UCLA, Berkeley. I've had kids that went to Tisch. So I've had kids that have trained with me while I was doing business and marketing. But I always knew that I wanted to get back into it. I was pulled back in because I went to go teach at a charter school for 4 years. So I ran a pretty successful theater program there for 4 years. And I decided to leave the school system and go on my own. And that's when I decided to open up my own theater company. I love creating and I love giving kids the chance to also use their minds and creativity to create. And I just felt like the schools kind of hold that back with everything going on in Florida and everything going on in the world. It's a little bit hard for the kids to be able to like have freedom to create. So I figured I can do this. I've been doing this for so long. So I decided to open up Royal Studios Miami. We opened in June of 2025. So literally last summer we opened.
Nice.
We opened a summer camp. And it went really well for us. We did a little musical review of Frozen. It was super cute. The parents, yeah. And from there we were like, well, let's see what happens. And we grew a lot. We actually did what blew us up really was we did Six the Musical, which is a pop concert version of Henry VIII's Six Wives, which if you know the story, they all have like different like problems with this King Henry, whatever. And that blew us up. We were on the news. We were all over that show. Yeah. And mind you, these are juniors in high school that are touring and working professionally. So we decided to open up our space. And since September of 2025, we've been training kids in dance, theater, music, and we've been putting on performances. We actually open our next show on Friday, which is going to be a huge hit. We're super excited about. But we don't only have elementary, middle school, and high school kids. We actually train college kids too. So these are kids that have an opportunity, which a lot of studios in Miami don't offer. That these kids, once they graduate high school, they're only in college. And sometimes the colleges here in Miami don't offer these really great theater productions or really great dance opportunities or whatever. So that's what we're here for. We're offering them the pre-professional opportunity. We're able to help them build their resumes all through high school and through college as well. And just allow them to continue building that rep that they want to build, so that when they get into the professional world, they're set. You know, I've worked with a lot of our students. I mean, a lot of our teachers are professionals in the industry as well that are currently working, and then bringing those insights into the classroom for the kids. So it's really cool. We have a really cool thing going on. And, you know, I guess I'm biased a little bit because I own the company, but, you know,
of course.
it's a fun time. It really is a fun time, you know?
Nice. Okay. That's journey. Okay. So to be performing since 6, I could see why when you got to 18, you was like, all right, yo, I'm gonna go ahead and pause this for a little bit because this has been a lot. Yes. But okay, time in charter school, why was it so short?
So I love the school system. I'm not going to lie to you. I loved working with the kids. Let me rephrase that. I loved working with the kids. I loved doing everything that I did with the kids. I loved training. I loved seeing their like aha moments when they were like, oh my God, I can actually do that. You know, I think it's just the behind the scenes of everything that happens within the school system. And charter school is a business at the end of the day, to be honest with you. And I'm not going to lie to you. I love my charter school people. I really do. I've made a lot of great connections with them. But for me personally, to grow, it was a little bit difficult. And to do what I really wanted to do, which was to really give kids an opportunity out of school to really like express themselves and like do things, you know. In the school system, you're held back a lot with a lot of restrictions and the new legality stuff that happens within the school system. So it's a little bit harder. But
homeschool families, are you ready to refresh your plans for the year? Join us at the Homeschool Your Kids Expo. Meet curriculum and enrichment vendors, discover new programs, and connect with a community that gets it, all in one place. Come with questions, leave with real options. Get event details and register now at homeschoolyourkidsexpo.com. That's homeschoolyourkidsexpo.com.
The honest truth is I really just needed to grow out of that. And I was only supposed to be there for 6 months and I ended up there.
Really?
Yeah. So there's that,
you know. You in. They get you every time.
Exactly. But don't get me wrong. I loved working with the kids. I loved my teams. I loved everybody, you know. So, but it was just time for me to grow and do something new for myself, you know.
I totally understand. It's not often that you hear teachers, especially the ones that are passionate about teaching in general, say that it's ever an issue with the kids. The reason why they left, like the survey is not leaning towards kids. Okay, it is a systematic problem. It definitely is. Restriction wise, I get it. By all means. And our reach is so much grander once we step outside of the classroom. It's like, you know, you get in there, you think like, oh, I'm about to go in here and change everything. And it's like, no, I'm not. I'm going to go ahead and step back out and create my own because that's what we got to do.
Yeah, it's true. But it really was a great time. And again, I love creating with the kids, and a lot of the stuff that's been happening is a lot of these kids are not able to create as freely as they want to within the walls of a school, you know? So I just decided to do this, and we can create anything we want now to a certain extent, but we can create anything we want. You know what I'm saying? We can have fun doing it. And the kids, it's been maybe 6 months of training, and there's been a lot of aha moments at the studio with these kids and them being able to do and see new things and new opportunities, which is great.
Nice. What's the framework? Like, do y'all pick a project and everyone in the studio is working on it, or are y'all working on separate projects per age group, or how does it work?
So there's a lot of moving parts to the studio because not only are we a studio that trains, but we're a studio that performs and gives performance opportunities. But we're also a studio that gives outside opportunities that are paid opportunities for students.
Oh, wow.
There's a lot of moving parts within Royal Studios. So when it comes down to like the training portion of it, we have 4 different levels. We have our elementary school levels, we have our middle school level, our high school level, and then our college level. So we have our conservatory program, and our conservatory program is divided into that. And so obviously we train with what we have, right? So elementary school cannot be doing what the high school kids are doing, you know? So as much as we are trying to build if the high school program is taking a dance class and we're working on flexibility and strength, we're going to be doing the same thing in the elementary school program, but to a lesser extent, because obviously they're not physically as strong as our high school kids. Right. Within classes, we'll do projects. Right now, the high school kids are working on their own play. They have to produce their own play. They have to direct it. They have to publish it. They have to do everything that they wouldn't normally do because I'm the one doing that. You know, but now they're being put into my shoes and putting the whole show together. Then when it comes to like the pre-professional opportunities, you know, like these kids are auditioning for shows outside of the studio. These kids are auditioning for plays and movies and TV shows, commercials. They're receiving gigs like, you know, a random farmer's market that's opening up. So they get to go perform over there and it's a paid gig for them. We've got like community events that they're always looking for different things and different kids, or just performers, and they get to go on audition. They do that. So, you know, there's just a lot of moving parts, within the studio. And honestly, our homeschool program has grown a lot. And like I was telling you earlier, I mean, I didn't know how big it was until literally 6 months ago. You know, and we have a very big bulk of our kids are homeschool kids. And it really is something different for them, you know, because whether they're at home doing school, or whether they're going to like the small micro schools that they're offering here in Miami, this is different for them because they walk into the studio and
your kid has music in them. They just need the right tools to let it out. Homeschool Beats Academy teaches kids ages 7 to 18 how to make real beats at home on their schedule, in their own style. No experience needed. Grab the complete First Beat Kit free at homebeatsacademy.com. That's homeschoolbeatsacademy.com.
They've made friends, they've made family with the other kids, and they're enjoying themselves. And even if it's just for 2 hours a day, they're really expressing themselves the way that I guess they can't while they're at home or whatever. This is a different place for them to have fun and put on a show or, you know,
be creative.
Exactly. Yes. So we offer a lot of those really cool opportunities. And like I said, it's a different world for me, but it's been a really cool, interesting world for me to learn about, you know?
Nice. And you are putting people on, Gabby. I love it. Like you getting people to the bag early.
We are trying. We're trying.
And your success, you said, came from your play with Six. That's what kind of launched y'all off.
So Six was, if you've never heard of Six is, like I said, it's the story of Henry VIII's 6 wives. So Henry VIII obviously was a king that ran England or whatever, and he went through 6 wives during his time as the king. And all the 6 wives,
he went through 6. It wasn't all at one time.
No. He went through 6 different wives within his time. And all the 6 wives were from different places, and they would just ship the women to him, and he would like choose which woman he wants. Like that's what it was, you know, like back then, that's how it worked, you know? And so, about 10 years ago, they wrote this show, and it's a pop concert, literally a pop concert full of music that's written, and each of these queens are telling their story. And it's really cool because there's a lot of deeper meaning behind just the woman that he has, you know. There's, you know, a woman that was brought over to him and was known as a very exotic woman, and nobody wanted her, and she was passed around, you know. But there's behind that story because her parents abused her and whatever. So we tell these stories, but through pop music. So these queens are based on Ariana Grande, Beyonce, J-Lo, Shakira, Avril Lavigne, like all these. It's a really cool concept. Nice. And so it was open about 10 years ago, and we were able to reserve the rights for this show. So it was like the first show that I was putting on for the company. And I was like, I'm putting it all in. Like, let's see what happens, you know? And if it flops, it flops. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Then let's see what happens. And so we opened in August, and it was crazy. We had 2 sold out shows. And we were on local news. We were on magazines. Like they were covering us like no tomorrow. It was crazy. And mind you, again, these are 6 high school juniors it's 4 high school juniors and 2 a sophomore and a freshman. So these girls had no idea what was coming out of this. I didn't even know, you know? And so it was super successful and it really put us on the map. From there, the night of the show, between the 2 shows, I had a friend of mine come to the show and he's from Key Largo. He's like, hey, I love this show so much. I want to bring this on to Key Largo. I'm like, dude, I open a show in an hour. Like, we'll talk next week. And he calls me on Monday and he's like, hey, I was serious. I really want to bring this. I want to tour this show down to the Keys. Let's do it. And I was like, okay, you know what? Let's do it. So we were able to grab some really cool sponsors. And they were able to sponsor our trip down to the Keys. And we performed for 600 Key Largo students.
Oh my gosh.
The craziest thing. I mean, it was so crazy. Like that show that was only supposed to happen for one night is performing in Key Largo now. And that was crazy. And then we got an offer to go tour again, now the entire Monroe County. And okay, let's do it. So we're in the works of that. We just recently announced that we are actually leaving to Scotland next year with this show, because this show was picked up. Yeah, the show was picked up to go to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, which is a big theater festival that happens in Scotland every year over the summer. So these girls are getting opportunities like this, and that show really put us on the map, you know, and it's really, really great opportunity. And it's just been a lot of fun. And that just doesn't go for this show too. You know, it goes for all the shows that we've done. We open a show now on Friday, and it's a full cast of college kids. And these kids are having a great time. And we've had some really great sponsors that are sponsoring these college kids to perform and to receive resume opportunities, to build their resume up. And that's what we do. We build performers and we build humans in classes, you know? So it's been really cool to see the growth of the studio within not even a full year of us being opened. And a lot of people are seeing us, and they're seeing that we're offering a lot of great opportunities for kids in our area. And, you know, the hope is to continue to grow and open new studios in Texas and open new studios down in the Keys, and like just start to expand and give opportunities to other kids that don't have the opportunity, whether it's in school or whether it's at home or whatever it may be. We're there for these kids that want to create, you know?
I love that. I want my girls to get into it. They are something, but with the trial, you will see. They are definitely performers. Okay. Yeah. But with our schedule, like, you know, with us doing the expos and stuff, it doesn't allow for us to sign up for longevity projects.
Right.
You know, and so I'm going to work that out, because I don't want to cheat them out of things that I know that they want to do. So we're going to work that out for the future. But I love what you have created. This is so amazing. Talk on why it's so important for kids to have this type of outlet. What did it do for you when you were growing up?
I mean, for me, it helped me continue talking to the walls like I do already. You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, like, even when I was a kid, I was so outgoing and I just needed an outlet. Look, when you come from a Hispanic household, the minute you turn 3 years old, they're putting you in baseball, they're putting you in soccer, they're putting you in whatever sport they think a Hispanic kid.
Yeah, you need to play, yes.
And let me tell you something, that does not work for me. I don't do sports, okay? I don't do sports, never did, never will, you know? And then the most sport you'll see me do is like throw a tennis ball, only because it fell by me and I'm gonna throw it back at you. You know what I'm saying? Like, but they saw that there was, you know, after school programs at my elementary school that they were offering. And one of them was the theater program. And they're like, you know what, let's try it out. Let's see what happens and go from there. And honestly, it gave me more opportunity to grow as a person. And it gave me more opportunity to just find myself as a person, you know, which is what I'm seeing a lot with these kids. I think now, especially in this day and age, a lot of the kids are having a really hard time. And who am I? What am I doing with my life? You know, there's a lot of times that within the schools, they're put in a box and they're expected to do one thing, and they don't really want to do that one thing, you know?
Right.
In this world, they're like, well, you're not going to make money if you're not a lawyer, and you have to go to school for 10 years to do that. You're not going to make money if you're not a doctor. And, you know, it's always like that. And with theater, they just don't understand that there's a world in theater where you can be in the technical part of theater, and you can be in the marketing side of theater. You can be in the business side of theater. You can be on stage in theater, and there's a world out there for these kids. But on top of that, it just gives these kids a chance to express themselves in ways that they didn't think they can. I see kids that think they come in as actors and they end up falling in love with the dance portion of it, and they're like, I can really through dance. Or I have kids that'll come in for the voice part of it and they're like, I really like acting and I really want to get into that because I feel like I relate more to that. I have kids that didn't even know they could sing and then they get into a voice class and they're like, oh wow, like I can actually hold it. Like I can actually sing that part, but even then I have kids that are like, I really like costume design and they are great designers and they're great makeup.
Yes.
They can make a business or they can go into makeup design and costume design and hair design. Like we're always looking for people to do our nails and eyelashes. And I have kids that do that already at 14, 15 years old. And they come into the studio and they're trying it on other girls and that's what we're building. We're building a place where the kids can come in and they can find ways around what they love and they can express themselves and they can do what they want to do at their own timing too. We give these kids as much as we can to be better. And like we like to say, we're building performers, but number one, we're building humans, And we've built a family too. A lot of these kids are coming from rough homes. So I'm dad, I'm uncle, I'm grandpa, yes. I'm best friend, I'm whatever. And just like my team are aunts and uncles and mom and dad. And these are the people that these kids sometimes are going to rely on stuff because they can't do that at home. So we're giving these kids a different opportunity than they'll receive anywhere else, which is pride ourselves in,
And it's so needed, like just to be able to see it and to know that you took part in a production. That's such a game changer for confidence. My friend, we have friends in New York, and her daughter has been writing plays since she was like 8, 9 years old. When we first met them, she had wrote a play. She had to sign contracts and everything, honey. Like to
that's
be in the
play. Yes. I love it.
Yes. But that's what it's like. Our young people are so capable of so much. And it's like sometimes we hold them back because we don't think, oh, that'd be too challenging or that'd be like, no, just give them the task and see if they can do it. See if they can, see what they come up with.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. We have a lot of kids that are creatives and they don't know it until they come in. Like perfect example. We have a student who came in and this is their first time ever doing anything in the arts. And the parent is like, they've never done this. I don't know if they're going to be any good. We're just trying it because we found it and they don't want to do anything else. And I'm like, okay. And we're forcing them into it. I'm like, okay. I'm not going to lie. Like whatever it is, what it is, you want to force your kid into something that they've never done. Perfect.
That they don't.
It's been 2 months and this kid literally is like, oh my God, I love marketing. It is my favorite thing in the world. So he's the one that is designing our marketing posters for our shows. And you go on our Instagram and a lot of the stuff that we've been posting is him making stuff like and then the parent comes up to me and they're like, I didn't think this was going to work. And I'm like, well, it did because the kid found something that they like. The thing is we have a lot of parents and we have a lot of parents. It's not even the kids. We have a lot of parents that'll come in and be like, there's nothing to do in theater. So we're just going to put them in because they graduate in 2 years and they need something to do. And then they're like, oh, wait, like my kid actually wants to study marketing now when he graduates high school because he found theater. And he really likes marketing shows and he likes marketing this. So maybe that's something that he can do in the long run. Yeah. Welcome to theater, where theater and the performing arts in general do that to you. This is why the performing arts is so important. And then we get funding cuts when it comes to performing arts within the school systems or within the community, but these are the things that are building a lot of these kids, have a student who, was a student of mine a couple of years ago. And he told me, Gaby, I'm not going to college. And I said, you know what? College is not for everybody. That's okay. I'm not going to lie to you. That's my opinion on it, whatever it is, what it is. And I knew that college wasn't going to be for that kid. That kid is currently one of the highest paid, TikTok influencers because he used what he did in theater and his marketing and his public speaking that he did in theater. And he is all over the place in TikTok. He's getting hired by the NBA to go and play and film things with NBA players. He's with the MLB. He's doing stuff with hockey, and he used everything that he learned in theater and he's placing it into social media and marketing and all that stuff. Theater does that. Performing arts does that to kids, whether people want to believe it or not,
Right. And because of the avenues are so different now, like it's like he can go to TikTok and become a, successful person on TikTok or on social media. I know when I was in the classroom, I had students who would say they want to be YouTube content creators or YouTube stars. And I'm like, well, what's your channel going to be about? And they didn't have nothing to give me. Well, they couldn't give me nothing. It's like, well, okay, you will figure it out. But that's what bothered me in the classroom a lot, was seeing like the creativity be drained from these kids. Like by the time that I was teaching 10th and 12th, my last couple of years, and them babies were just walking zombies, honey. They was just there. They're just present. They can't tell you what their interests are. They can't tell you what their favorite things. They ain't got no hobbies. It was just like, where am I? Why are y'all like this? And it's just, I just blame the system, but that's just me.
I know. I get it. It's just, it's still going on now, unfortunately. I get some of these kids that'll come into studio and they're like, I had the roughest day at school. Like, I'm so drained, and it's the testing and it's everything that's going on with them. It's rough. It's rough for a lot of these kids, but
there's so much going on in the world in general. And, we kind of ignore the kids throughout this. It's like, you're an adult taking this in, and it's like, oh, they're kids. They're not worried about this. These kids have some real fears right about now. Right. Especially now. Like now it's wild. So all that, it's a lot going on. And so it's just like, if you give them an outlet, if you are allowed, offer them something that is going to busy or steady their mind, as opposed to having it all everywhere else.
I know, which is why it's so important. Like, this is why, and this is really a big reason why we started Royal Studios. It was to give these kids the outlet, to give these kids opportunities out of school and out of home and out of everything, and show them, hey, there's a lot of opportunity for you everywhere. And here they are, things that you didn't know that you could get at 14 or 15 years old. I've got really cool opportunities coming to, like, even our seniors. Our seniors were given an opportunity in October, and they went to a Florida theater conference, and where they had they had over like 100 colleges. And I had one of my seniors come back with 21 callbacks and 3 acceptances into a college. And he looked at me and he said, I didn't even know that this was a possibility for me. So it's those things that we're opening up to people, and those things that, when they come in, they don't know what they're getting themselves into. And then they leave, and they're like, I don't want to leave, but I have to graduate.
I know.
And that's where our college program came into play.
I said that's how you ended up extending.
That's where our college program came into play. Because look, I have a lot of kids like me. Yes, exactly. You don't need to go. You can stay. But I have a lot of those kids that are like me. I left theater and I thought I was never going to go back to it. And here I am teaching theater, And so I have a lot of those kids that are like, look, I want to get into something else. I want to go study to medicine. I want to go study, I don't know, anything else that's not theater, but I want to continue doing theater. Can I continue with you? And I was like, you know what? This is a great opportunity for us to continue offering these programs to these kids. So we're going to do that, And so we open up that college program, and they can take dance classes with us. They can take all that type of stuff with us, And even with our homeschool program, like I said, it was a world that I never really got into because I didn't know anything about it. I'm not going to lie. The only thing I knew about it was that my cousins are homeschooled in Texas. And I know that Texas has a homeschool program, but I didn't realize how big it was in Florida until recently. And so now we're kind of reworking our programs, and okay, maybe we give these homeschool kids opportunities throughout the day to continue performing or to continue training or whatever it may be. And maybe it's not something that they do at night because they want to do it during the day. So it's a lot of rework and a lot of things that we're learning about the homeschool program. We're a step up provider, and I didn't know step up was a thing. I thought it was only for private school kids that needed the help with funding to pay for private school. But no, it's also considered something that homeschool kids can use. And it's also helped us out a lot because we can offer opportunities for these homeschool kids through Step Up, So it's been a really wild ride with the homeschool and just something that, again, I didn't know enough about. And now I'm learning little by little. And it's a really cool program. It's something really cool that I think a lot of kids should really look into, especially for kids that really don't do well within the public, private, or charter sector. Homeschool is a really cool opportunity for a lot of kids that a lot of parents don't know about, especially in Miami. I think the Hispanic community is so not against it, but they're so like
they second guess themselves a lot. Yeah.
That's themselves.
I'm here in Arizona, and I have a lot of like Mexican, Hispanic, all that good stuff. And I talk to them all the time, like, especially when I'm talking about homeschooling. And it's, I don't know. Can you teach my kids? And I'm like, no, you can't. You can't. But I don't think that they understand how dope they are. And I say anyone who's bilingual, who's able to transition between words and sentences, like transition between languages in the midst of a sentence. Come on now, you got to understand your mind is so powerful. Your brain, it definitely functions in the manner that it needs to. And you are capable of finding the resources that your child needs for their educational journey. Because that's all it is. It's about, you don't have to teach everything. Right. You just need to be able to find the support you need. Right. And it's available. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a different world. And look, I was always the first one. I was like, homeschool? Are you sure? And in my head, again, it comes with not knowing, it was, when my cousin first started homeschool, I'm like, are you sure? Like, you're taking away like maybe like prom her senior year, like a real graduation. And then you start learning about this and you're like, no, there's people that actually will host a prom for you.
I already told mine that I'll host theirs.
Yeah, like it's a lot of moving parts. And again, this was just something that a year ago I did not know anything about. And I was so like, are you sure homeschool? But now I'm like, it's so cool. Like you're working on your own schedule. You're learning, you're still learning and you're still doing your own thing at your own pace. And you still get all the opportunities that you get with all these, programs that are happening around the community where you can go to like, at least here in Miami, like they do, I see it on like Facebook pages. They're like, hey, we're going to meet up at Zoo Miami today. If anybody wants to join us, come do that. Or, hey, we're going to this museum and we have a really cool tour that's happening just for homeschool kids. Like, let's go do that. Hey, we have this class that's being offered in art class. Let's go do that. Who wants to come? Like, it's so cool, the community that's being built with these homeschool families, and even the parents will tell me all the time. They're like, it's not even for the kids. Sometimes it's for us too, because we're meeting like-minded people that are on the same boat as us, and we're on the same struggles, and we're on the same this, and we're on the same that, and we're finding that it's easier for us to do that when we're in homeschool rather than being in a public charter private system, where you don't know the parent of the kid that your kid is hanging out with all the time, because you never make that connection with them or whatever. But within the homeschool sector, it's so different. It's so different. It's the coolest thing in the world, to be honest.
It is. It's a lifestyle, and you're immersed in it now, Gaby. You are here.
Yeah, I am here. I am here. Let me tell you, I am here.
It definitely is a lifestyle, and I just always want parents to know that they are supported, like regardless of how it feels, especially jumping out the window with it, especially if you're first generation homeschoolers, because we have a lot of those, especially now. It's like you're going to find the support. You're going to find your community. The way homeschoolers find us is kind of crazy. Like we'll be all over the place. And then someone, oh, Mom, they're homeschooled too. And I'm like, what? Friends? We friends now?
It's true.
But it is. People are everywhere. And it is a great lifestyle. And I don't knock traditional school for who it works for. But from my experience of time in the classroom, it's not the majority that it works for.
Correct.
And I can say that with my chest. So look, it's not the majority. So I'm all for parents finding what works for them and their family, what works for your kids. Find that, shape that, build that, advocate for that, because we don't have to settle for what doesn't work. Right. And it's so wild that with all that goes on in the school system, and I tell people all the time, they always talk about they don't have money for stuff. These people got money. They just do with it what they want to do with it. But art programs should not be the first thing that's cut when trying to rebudget things. Like we need to let our kids express. They have to be able to express.
Yeah. I think that that's a fight that at least my world has been fighting for so long, the arts is always the first thing to be cut, period. Point blank, period, is the first thing to be cut. We will lose millions of dollars a year just because they're putting it into something else. Within the school system, it's the first thing to be cut because they want to put in their athletics. So funding is going to go to the American sport, football. It's going to go to, soccer programs and flag football and all that stuff. What they don't realize is that those sports players during school hours are looking to go into a theater class, are looking to go into a music class. It's really funny. So my first year at the school, I was like, I'm going to wing this. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I've taught before, but I've never taught in the classroom. Like, this is my first time. I think it's just like all brand new teachers, you go to school and you're like, this is not what I was taught in school. I'm not
exactly
3 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? And so I was like, I'm going to wing this. And you know what? I had a bunch of sports players in my first period class. And I said, what am I supposed to do with them? They're football players. All they want to do is talk about football. All they want to do is play football. I'm getting the football thrown in my face. Like, it was and I was like, you know what? Let's figure this out. And I said, you know what, guys, we're going to put on our first show. And they're like, a show? I'm like, yes, we're directing the show and we're going to do a really fun, Romeo and Juliet, but it's going to be Seussified. And they're like, what? We did a whole lesson on Dr. Seuss. It's like, these kids have never heard of it. And I'm like, this is what Dr. Seuss is. This is his English because it's not real English, And we did Romeo and Juliet and they loved it. And it was really funny because we themed it like clown. So it was within a big top circus and they were building their own sets and they were building their own props and they were designing makeup. The day of the show comes or a couple weeks, the week of the show, I'm like, all right, guys, we need to start working on makeup. Like, it's big clown makeup. You guys are on wigs, big eyeliner, big eyelashes, all this stuff. And even on the guys. And the guys are like, what? And I'm like, yeah, guys, like, it's the show, Listen, they were having so much fun that the day of, I think the call time was maybe like 11 in the morning because they had like a 2 p.m. show for the school. All of my football players were the first ones there sitting in their seat ready to get their makeup done. I'm like, what are you doing? They're like, we're excited. Like, we want to do this. Yeah. Like,
I'm in hair and makeup.
We want to do it. We're excited. Like, we're ready to like perform. Those sports players are always the first ones to get the job done. It is what it is, but they have that outlet because they're constantly in weight training. They're constantly, in football practice. It's 8 a.m. practices or late night practices or whatever. All they want is just to have fun. And this was their fun, but people don't understand that.
But think about, Gabby, just like you started with talking about how you were trying to, well, not you, but your parents were trying to put you in sports. And think about how many of them are playing sports that they don't want to play. I was one of them. Look, I was one of them. So I played basketball from 9 to 19. Never wanted to play. But I played because my mom said I had to play. But just think, so that is that's still their outlet because while we're thinking, sports, their football is life and da-da-da. It's like, no, half of them are there because their parents said they need to be there.
Yes, exactly. So what people don't understand is that even with sports players, as much money as you're putting into the athletics programs, you have to put equally amount of the money into your performing arts programs because, look, they've always said it, and I saw it because I worked at a dance studio for a while and I would teach classes and things like that. When I got into the school system, they were like, oh, sports players don't take dance. No, they have to. A football player needs to take a ballet class. Why? You're stretching them. Mm-hmm. They're building stamina. They're building all that stuff through dance. These sports players need the performing arts. So again, as much money as you're putting into athletics, you got to put it into the performing arts, because not only are you guys training through athletics, but we're also training these kids. Because, hey, what happens if this kid gets pulled into the NFL? What's the first thing they do after a game? They go into an interview with all these, podcasters and all these news reporters, and they're asking them questions. The kid is not being trained how to properly speak, how to answer questions, how to be able to on the spot answer that question and answer it correctly. Theater does that because we go through improv lessons. Hey, this is what your scene is. Go for it. Learn how to do it. But they're not doing that on the fields. They're just playing the game on the field.
Exactly.
So performing arts does this to you.
And public speaking is like one of the top 3 fears or something in the country. I don't know, statistically wise, but I know it's it's one of the top 3 fears of people. So public speaking and theater definitely, go hand in hand and making people more comfortable with being able to be in the spotlight.
Be in the spotlight, at least if it's for 5 minutes, but yeah, it's true. Performing arts does a lot for people, and people don't understand that because they're just like, theater people don't make money. Actors don't make money.
Actors do make money though.
Listen,
music artists
on Broadway music artists. Yeah, look, when you're on Broadway, when you're the entertainment industry is hard, but if you have the right training and you work it the way you want to, you can. An actor of I don't know how many years can move into a business degree or can move into a communications degree. I have friends that graduated from the theater programs at my high school when we were there together, and they're working on the local news. I have a friend that went to Vogue, and she worked for Teen Vogue for 3 years. She used her theater knowledge to get into that. A lot.
And there's just so many components to theater that you can't really knock it. Because you said, there's the marketing aspect, there's the production part, the photography, the videographer, the writer, director. There's so many things outside of just the acting that you're going to find your marks. You're going to find a place somewhere. Exactly. So, it opens up a lot of doors, and that's something that we're trying to fix. Theater's also the one thing in school. They're like, those are the weird theater kids, but theater is cool. I'm not going to lie. Theater is cool. And what was really cool is that when I was at the school, and even now with Royal, we make theater cool for kids. We're not those weird theater kids. No, we will have fun in class. We will have conversations that you don't think you'll actually have in a theater world. We look really good when we do our photo shoots, we are different. And even when I was at the school, the theater program was the it thing. It was more than football was at our school. Everybody wanted to be part of the theater program. Everybody wanted to be part of our show. Even the kid that you never thought would want to do theater wanted to do theater. In high school, So I think that's also something else that we pride ourselves in. We make theater fun. We make theater cool. The kids say, we're not those weird theater kids, whatever. So we pride ourselves in that too. We open theater for everybody and anyone. You can be a sports kid. You can be the nerd in the corner that's always studying, but you have talent too. And we open that up to anybody, I love that. Thank you for that, Gaby. Thank you for all that you created and are creating. So are you still performing? I know you're teaching, but do you still hop on the stage?
So I have not, but on Friday I make my debut in the show that we're opening up after 10 years. So let's see how this goes.
Really? It's your first time after 10 years?
It's my first time. Literally, I have not performed since 2016. I have not performed since 2016, and it's literally 10 years after. And let's see how this goes. I don't know.
It's going to be amazing. You're going to, yes, you already, let's see how this goes. Action.
Oh, man.
Yes, I love it.
On Friday, we open a show. It's my debut after 10 years. So let's see.
You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. I got 2 more questions for you before I let you go. One, with all that you do and create and pouring into these lovely little people and big people, how do you self-care? How do you make sure that Gaby is taken care of?
Gabby was not taken care of for 4 years. I'm not going to lie to you, because the school system really took a lot from me. You know, I was working a lot, 7 days a week. Saturdays and Sundays were competition. Saturdays and Sundays, it was a lot, you know. But now that I have found myself again in the last couple of months, it's easier for me to pick up the phone and say, hey, do you want to hang out tonight? Hey, let's do something this weekend. Hey, let's go out of town. Hey, let's, I don't know, go out for dinner. Like, that's my self-care. I'm not going to lie to you. My self-care is hanging around people that push me to be better.
Make you feel good.
Yes, that make me feel good. You know, I have 2 girls that I have literally taken under my wing. And they're like my daughters, or they're literally my daughters, even though, you know, but I love spending time with them and being with them and kind of, you know, seeing what they're up to and listening to them and seeing them interact with others. And that's my self-care. My self-care is hanging out with friends and, you know, getting home. And if I have to work from home, because obviously you're running a business and your work never ends. But when you're at home, if you have to work for 5 or 10 minutes, at least I'm home. At least I can see my house, which I wasn't seeing for 4 years, you know. Having weekends, you know, having weekends and hanging out with my family, you know, with my nieces and my nephews, with friends, things like that. That's my self-care. And honestly, it's been different because I wasn't used to that for 4 years, but it's getting used to, and I'm enjoying it a lot, to be honest with you. So that's my type of self-care.
I know that's right. How do you feel? Like, how do you feel now?
So much better. It's like 1,000 weights lifted off my back. And yeah, I mean, it's so much better, to be honest.
Oh, I know it. I already know. Okay, so if our listeners didn't hear anything else, what's 3 things you want to leave them with? Like, here, take these jewels with you. If you don't hear anything else, if you have not heard anything else I said, please take this.
I would definitely want people to realize what the performing arts does for you. You know, it gives you a creative outlet and it changes you for the better. And it gives you a chance to really be a person, be a human being. You know, it teaches you how to be better for yourself and for others. Have fun in life. I mean, I know that we talked a lot about like the business aspect of it and what we do, but what people don't realize is that this is fun. This is a great time. If you are not enjoying what you do, then don't do it anymore. Continue and find something else to do. You know, it shouldn't feel like work for you. It should feel like a game, like you're playing a game every day, which is what I love. You know, I love playing games, and it's a game that I'm playing every day and I'm winning every game. You know what I'm saying? And I think the third thing that I would say is do better for the kids. You know, especially in this world that we're in, this is the next generation. These are the people we're going to elect as Congress, as presidents. These are the people that are going to take care of us when we get older in the old people homes. You know, these are our lawyers that are going to defend us. You know, like I really want people to see the importance of these kids and the emotional aspect that these kids go through a lot, you know, and that's going to affect them later on. So treat these kids with respect, treat these kids as adults when they have to be treated as adults, and treat them as kids when they are treated as kids. You know, we need to take care of these kids because these are the ones that, again, take care of us and are going to be the next generation of everything when we get older, you know?
Yes, those are some jewels, Gabby. Thank you for that. Thank you. Families, you hear it. Like, let them children express. Let them join that local theater club or art club or performing arts, because it's needed. It's needed. We don't want creativity to drain away. We don't want everything to be black and white. We do not want everyone to walk the same straight and narrow path. We do not. I say we, but I mean me.
Me too.
Right? I can't speak for everybody, but I'm just saying. Yeah. So reach out, join those groups. reach out for support. Understand that it's not a journey that you need to do alone. But like he said, let the kids be kids and respect them as such. Understand these are little beings. Like they're not, these are little, I call my kids little people. They're little people. They're going to be big people soon. But let them enjoy being little people. Pour into them and see them as little people that they are. And if you see a talent in them or you see a little spark, any kind of spark, light it, blow it, like whatever, like ignite it.
Yeah, 100%.
But we will definitely have the links available for Gaby in the description, so you can check out if you are in the Miami area, check out his studio, and if not, then like I said, check out a local studio next to you. But just understand that being able to express is an important skill to get a hold on now as opposed to later. You're going to meet my 12-year-old. She's been hosting the expos for the last, this will be her 4th year. Yeah, she's been hosting.
I love it.
She's a personality.
I love personality.
But yes, so families, you know my motto, homeschool your kids.